All right. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Learn with Anirudh. Now, this is the third episode in our five-part series where we're discussing all of the really important sorting algorithms in the world of data structures and algorithms. So, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at our previous episodes where we discuss bubble sort and where we discuss insertion sort, do make sure to take a look at that because in this session, we're going to be taking a look at selection sort. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. As I mentioned in the previous two parts, we've already discussed and understood bubble sort and insertion sort in the easiest way possible. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at that, the links are available in the description box right now. So make sure you watch that. And of course, make sure that you guys are subscribing to the channel because as soon as I put out these new episodes, these super important episodes, you guys will be the first ones to get access to them. Anyway, we're done with bubble sort, we're done with insertion sort. Now it's time for you guys to learn selection sort. As always, we're going to be taking up examples, we're going to be taking up theory, we're going to understand how the algorithm works, and eventually we're going to take a look at the step-by-step understanding of how it works in Python as well. Now, if that isn't enough, at the end of this episode, I have a couple of quiz questions planned out for you guys as well to make sure that you guys are working on it yourself. I would love to know all the answers to your quiz questions. So as soon as you're done with the episode, head to the comment section and let me know. Well, with that, I think we can get started with selection sort. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we already had a chance to take a look at insertion sort. As with life and as with any array, we saw that when it comes to insertion, whenever you go about inserting things in places where it's not supposed to be, things mess up a lot. And in the case of selection sort, it is actually very similar to insertion sort, but here we select before inserting stuff. So I know it sounds very bad. I'm sorry for that. I couldn't help myself there. But at this moment, you have to understand that again, selection sort is an algorithm that's called as an in-place sorting algorithm. Now, what do I mean by that? It's better explained, of course, with the help of an example. Now, take a look at this. We are using the same array that we used for insertion sort 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 8, 3, 5. If you take a quick second to pause the video, you can manually sort it in less than a second, I am sure. Correct? Now, how do we go about using selection sort to sort this array? In the case of selection sort, things are very simple, things are very straightforward, and they are not as confusing as insertion sort. I'll tell you why. First step in selection sort, step number one always is to look through all the elements that you have in the array. Look through the entire array right now and find which is the smallest element, which is the minimum element that you see in the array. Of course, as soon as you take a look at it and as you can scan it, the most minimum element is 2. In this case, coincidentally, it is placed in the first position. Now, it might have not been the case. 2 could have been in any other place as well. So your goal is to actually first find which is the most minimum element, the smallest element in your entire array, and actually move it towards the separate array. So what we're trying to do here is we're finding the most minimum element, we're separating out to a sorted array. As you can see right now, if you know that 2 is the most minimum element, common sense will tell you that 2 will be on the leftmost part of our final sorted array. So we just shift it to the left and we keep it in its place. Step number 1. Now, coming to step number 2. Step number 2 is we will not touch this anymore. 2, in our opinion, is considered to be sorted. So what we are going to play around is with this unsorted array that you see on the right side. So we're going to repeat this entire process of going to the first element now. The first element in the unsorted array is what? It is 4. Now, what do we do with 4? It's very simple. We compare 4 with every single element that is out there after 4. So we find out if 4 is the smallest element or if there is another element which is smaller than 4. Now look at it and analyze yourself. Is there an element which is smaller than 4 in the unsorted array? Yes, there is. Look at 3. 3 is smaller than 4. And once you find an element that is smaller than the element that you're comparing with, what do? It's very simple. We swap those two elements. If you can see, here there was 4 and here there was 3, and now we have swapped these two elements. And once you do that, what you're actually trying to do here is to get the smallest element to come into the first position, of the unsorted array. And after that, it's very simple. You just move it to the sorted array. Now, after moving it to the sorted array, you might ask a question saying, hey, do we have to perform another comparison? No, we do not have to perform another comparison because in the first step itself, you found the most minimum element. In the next step, you found the next smaller element. In the next one, it's just like that. It's like climbing down your stairs in your house. You can jump 10 stairs, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to climb back up again and jump down again. You just start walking down your stairs. So once you find the most minimum element here, all you have to do is find the next smaller element. And in this case, since you are trying to do it in the ascending order, since you are trying to sort it in the ascending order, you find the element which is next to the current element that we have, which is the next bigger element compared to it. So we don't have to compare 2 and 3 anymore. 2 and 3 are sorted. This is how easy it is in selection sort. And if you watch the insertion sort episode, you will be wondering how simple this is compared to that. So let's consider sorting the entire array now. What's the next step? The next step is simple. All we had to do was follow until step number 3, and then we have to repeat the entire thing. Pick up the first element in the unsorted array. What is that? It is 6. We picked it up. So what do you do after you pick it up? You compare it with the rest of the unsorted array to find out if that element is the smallest element there. Now, is 6 the smallest element in the unsorted array? Absolutely not, because we have 4 there. So what do? We swap 6 and 4. Once you swap 6 and 4, you add it to the sorted array directly. No need to make any other comparisons there because it is not needed. It is understood that it is sorted. What do you do next? Again, you repeat it. You go to 7. You try to compare 7 with all the other elements, find the most minimum element. In this case, we have another minimum element, which is 5. So we swap it with 5. Fantastic. And we add it to the array. What next? Repeat it again. Take a look at 9. Compare 9 with all the other elements. There is another smaller element compared to 9. The smallest element compared to 9 right now is 6. So swap 9 and 6. Repeat it again. Go to 8, find which is the element that is the smallest element in that particular comparison. We found 7 to be the smallest. Swap 7 and 9 and eventually bring it there. Again, take a look at 9 and 8. We go to 9. We find out and make a simple comparison between 9 and 8. We find out that the 8 number is smaller than 9, of course. So all we have to do is swap that, add it to our array. Now we have only one element that is left in our unsorted array, and this, if you followed through the entire logic, you have to understand that that last element that would have remained will be what? It will be the largest element in the array regardless of what element that you have picked. So all you have to do is you have to move it into the particular slot, move it into its particular position, and you are done with this. Your unsorted array is now empty. And as soon as your unsorted array is empty, it means that you have sorted all the elements because you made continuous comparisons to find an element which is slightly greater than that, and at the end you've sorted the entire array. So let's go over this one more time. How did we sort this entire array using selection sort? The logic of selection sort was simple. First step is to find the most minimum element, find the lowest element in the array and move it to the first position. In our case, we already had the element in the first position, so we did not move it. If your lowest element was in the last place, swap it with the first place and bring it to the first place. Your most minimum element should always be in the leftmost position. What do you do after that? You leave that element, you don't touch that element anymore, and every element apart from that, you compare its position and you find out which is the most minimum element in the unsorted array. We showed you that in the simple example that we discussed. Find the smallest element, swap it with the position, add it to your sorted array, and you just have to repeat this again and again and again. And at the end, when your unsorted array is empty, it means that your array is completely sorted. Theory is good. We understood how the algorithm works. We had a chance to take a look at the simple example. It's high time we take a look at the code in Python. Now, the code in Python is extremely simple compared to all the other algorithms. So let's get started with that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I've quickly opened up Google Colab where I have this small example of the code which uses selection sort. So let me quickly walk you through how it works. I think I can zoom in one more step here. And yes, now you should be able to see it in the most zoomed out fashion. Great. Take a look at this. The first line is our input array. Now, the input array can be the same array that we discussed right now. It can be the array that we discussed in insertion sort. It's just a random array, okay? So we have an array with how many elements? We have an array with 8 elements right now, 7, 6, 4, 2, 9, 8, 3, 5. We're going to be using selection sort to sort this in the ascending order. This is another example array. You don't have to worry about it right now. These two lines are just concerned with printing our input array as soon as we print the output to just make it convenient for all of you guys. Now here comes the entire heart of the logic. The lines that I've selected right now is the entire piece of logic that helps selection sort work. So let's go through it line by line. What is the first line doing? The first line is something what we call as a traversal array. The traversal array is basically helping Python move from the first element and to move until the last element. It's very simple. As you can see, we say for I in the range until the length of the input array, we're saying, hey, go from the start until the maximum length of the input array and just traverse through each of those elements. And once we have that, we're giving Python a chance to look at every element. Okay, so you're looking at every element, done, which you would have done manually with your eyes. You would have looked at all the elements. What did you do after looking at all the elements? You found out which was the minimum element and you brought it to the first place. So we need to have a logic where we can find the minimum element. In this case, we have just assigned minimum equal to I, because this is going to help us find out what is the minimum element there and bring it. But it is only going to help us find it. To actually bring it, we need a logic to swap. And this element that I've just in this code snippet that I've just selected right now for j in range of I plus 1 to length. So this is the loop that is going to make the actual comparison. This is going to help have your minimum element, compare it with every other element, and eventually do the sorting. So you might have a question right now. Hey, why do you have I plus 1 out here? The I plus 1 out here is very simple. If you remember, what did we do in step number 1? We found the most minimum element, we pulled it to the left, and we never touched it after that. So we just had to pick up an element after that one. If that element was in the ith position, what will be the next position? I plus 1. So it's very simple. All we have to do is pick up the elements from the next position of that and go until the end of the array. Now assume that if this is the most minimum element here, you will not use that again for your comparison. You're going to use everything else. That's the reason we're going to be using I plus 1 and go all the way to the end of that particular array. Okay, so we know the logic of how we're going to compare. So where is the actual comparison happening? Look at this line. It says if your input array of minimum is greater than input array of j, that is the new minimum element. Now this is the line which is basically finding out the new minimum element, correct? Because every time you finish a comparison, the minimum element will not be the same. In one case it was 2, in another case it was 3, in another case it was 5. So to make sure that your minimum element gets updated all the time and you're not comparing the same element everywhere, this line is very important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's very easy to forget this line. Make sure that you're not forgetting this. If your current element, if your minimum element is greater than the element that you're comparing, it means that it is no longer the minimum. So just swap these two positions of minimum and j. Because at this moment of time, when you're swapping everything here, you're just swapping those two places. Once you swap in those two places, what should you do? You have to add it back to the swapped array. You have to add it back to the sorted array, correct? You remember we were doing swapping in the right side array, in the unsorted array. After that, what did we do? What did we finally do is very simple. All we had to do is you have to take that, place it in the sorted array. Now this line does exactly that. So every time you're traversing through the element, find the most minimum element, find out where you are traversing in the loop, just swap it. So this logic will tell you nothing but find the most minimum element and keep throwing it to the left. Find the next minimum element, throw it next to the left. Find the next minimum element, keep it next there. Find the next, keep it. Find the next, keep it. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, we have one last message to print us the output. Now, this is the input 76429835. Quickly open up your pen and paper and find out what is the sorted order, because as soon as I hit the play button, it's going to work for sure. And as you can see here, the logic here is correct. The input array was 76429835. Fantastic. And as soon as we use selection sort 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is sorted in the ascending order. Okay, so this worked very nicely for one example. Let's try to pick up another example. I'll just make this as a comment and I'm just going to remove the comment on this. Now this becomes the input array. There are certain negative numbers here as well. So let's see if it works for negative numbers. Of course, it works for negative numbers as well. This is the input array. It is not in any sort of order or it is not in any ordered fashion. But take a look at this. As soon as we use selection sort, -8, -6, -5, 1, 8, 9, 10, this is arranged in what? In the ascending order. So ladies and gentlemen, it is as simple as this. Your entire logic actually depends on only these 3 lines. Every other line is at the end of the day is just helping your array helping your Python element get access to that particular array, to get access to that particular element. And that's about it. How simple is selection sort, especially when you compare it to something like insertion sort? So with this, we are literally done with how selection sort works. But the most important thing that we have to understand at this moment of time right now is, I want you guys to work on these by yourself. So I've given you a simple DIY, a couple of arrays here. So make sure that you guys are working on this. It's very simple. If you want the exact code that we have used in the particular demo that I showed you, it is available in the description box right now. The entire Jupyter notebook is available. As soon as you click on it, you will be brought to the exact same screen that I just showed you. But try to see, now that you understood the logic, try to see if you can implement it yourself. Try to see if you can do anything differently. Sort out these arrays, and if you have done it, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a screenshot, or of course, head to the YouTube comments right now, leave a comment. Let us see who gets this one first, because it is very important for you to get this right, because selection sort is a very nice question that they're going to ask in the interviews, especially when they ask about merge sort and quick sort. This is a question that in fact I was asked many years ago. Can you give an example of an algorithm which is not as efficient as merge sort? Now merge sort and quick sort are actually very efficient algorithm. They use something called as a divide and conquer approach, but this is an algorithm which uses an in place comparison approach. So whenever you ask tricky questions like that, you will have an answer to it right now. So now you know how a selection sort algorithm works. We had a chance to take a look at the logic, we took a look at the example, we implemented it in Python, and you also have the assignments that you guys can use to work with it on your own. So ladies and gentlemen, with this, we have completed selection sort. If you haven't watched the previous episode, we already were finished with bubble sort, insertion sort, and with this, we are also done with selection sort. In the next couple of episodes, we're going to be discussing merge sort and quick sort. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on these two algorithms, because merge sort and quick sort are slightly complex when it comes to implementation. And as always, when it comes to anything that's complex here at Learn with Anirudh, we are going to find the most simplest ways, the most fun ways for you guys to relate with the concept, learn the concept, and master them thoroughly. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Learn with Anirudh. I'll see you really quickly on the next one.